The day began like any other on Earth. People were waking up, getting ready for work, and the usual hustle and bustle filled the streets. Across the globe, humanity's advancements in technology were making headlines, but no one knew that a much larger force had been watching them for years. The aliens were observing Earth from afar, carefully studying human progress. Their interest had started when humanity first ventured into space, but the true tipping point came when Earth launched its most advanced warship. The warship was not just another piece of technology. It was a masterpiece, capable of immense power and precision. No one knew how advanced it was until it was revealed to the public. Built with technology that was a blend of human creativity and alien inspiration, it had the potential to turn the tide in any battle. It was this ship, named the Ascendant, that caught the attention of the galaxy's most powerful factions. The alien species had been at peace for centuries, but peace had made them complacent. They had grown too comfortable with their dominance, too confident that no one could challenge them. When they saw the Ascendant, they saw something different, something dangerous. A species capable of building such advanced technology was no longer a minor threat. It was a challenge to their very control of the universe. It was then that the first communications came, not from Earth, but from the stars. A message, brief but chilling, arrived on all of Earth's military channels. The galaxy declares war on humanity. Surrender or face extinction. The message was followed by a wave of alien ships entering Earth's orbit. They were enormous, and their weaponry was unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Earth's defenses, powerful as they were, didn't stand a chance. The aliens attacked without hesitation, striking from the sky with ruthless precision. Cities were leveled, communication networks cut off, and the planet's strongest military forces were overwhelmed in the blink of an eye. People were left in shock, staring at the sky as ships hovered ominously above. The military leaders were in disarray. No one had expected such an all-out assault. The invasion wasn't just a military operation. It was a message. Humanity was nothing more than a stepping stone for the galaxy's power. But as Earth's defenses crumbled, a spark of defiance ignited. The human race, despite all odds, was not ready to give up. In the midst of panic, one thing became clear. They would not surrender. Not without a fight. In the chaos, something began to shift. The aliens underestimated humanity's resilience, and in that moment, Earth began to realize something the invaders had failed to see. The true power of the human spirit had only just begun to awaken. The moment the alien ships appeared in the sky, panic spread across Earth. People ran for cover, unsure of what to do or where to go. The invasion was like nothing anyone had seen before. The ships didn't just land. They hovered above cities, casting long shadows that darkened the sky. Their sheer size was terrifying, their weapons powerful enough to obliterate anything in their path. The first attack came in seconds. Without warning, massive beams of energy shot down from the alien ships, smashing into the ground with a force that shook entire cities. Buildings crumbled, roads cracked open, and the sound of explosions echoed across the planet. The air was filled with smoke and dust, making it nearly impossible to see or breathe. Humanity's military forces scrambled to respond, launching every missile, fighter jet, and weapon they had. But it was all in vain. The alien ships were protected by shields that seemed to absorb everything thrown at them. Nothing human-made could penetrate their defenses. Earth's best weapons were no match for the invaders' superior technology. Major cities like New York, London, and Tokyo fell within hours. The government tried to maintain control, but communication lines were cut, and military command centers were destroyed. It was chaos. Panic took hold of every corner of the world. People didn't know whether to fight, run, or hide. But what was clear was that Earth was no longer in control. In the midst of the destruction, a group of soldiers stationed in a remote military base on the outskirts of one of the largest cities decided they would not go down without a fight. They watched from their radar screens as alien ships began to deploy ground troops. These alien soldiers looked nothing like humans. Tall, armored beings with glowing eyes, they descended on the planet like an unstoppable force. The soldiers at the base knew they were facing a war like no other. But they didn't give up. They mounted a defense with whatever weapons they could find, launching guerrilla-style attacks against the alien troops. They used the environment to their advantage, setting traps and using the landscape to hide their movements. They were small, but they fought fiercely. And then came the unexpected, something even the aliens hadn't anticipated. As the human soldiers carried out their attacks, they discovered something strange. Despite the aliens' overwhelming firepower, their strategy had one flaw. They underestimated humanity's ability to adapt and innovate on the fly. In the middle of battle, humans began using their own creativity to find ways to strike back. An engineer, working quickly under pressure, managed to hack into an alien communications network. With this new access, the humans learned the invaders' tactics and weaknesses. They couldn't stop the alien forces entirely, but they could slow them down. For the first time since the invasion began, humanity had a small victory. The aliens, shocked by this unexpected resistance, regrouped. They had thought Earth's people would be easy to crush. But they were wrong. Humanity's spirit of survival had only just begun to shine through. The war had started with a fierce attack, and for hours, humanity's cities burned. The alien forces showed no mercy, obliterating anything in their way. But as the dust began to settle, something remarkable began to happen. Humanity, in all its chaos and fear, had found a way to fight back. It wasn't a large, coordinated military effort, at least not yet. It was small pockets of resistance scattered across Earth. People who had once lived simple, ordinary lives found themselves in extraordinary circumstances. They used their knowledge, their creativity, and their will to survive. The enemy might have had advanced technology, but humanity had something more. The ability to think on its feet and turn the tide when things seemed impossible. One of the most notable examples of this came from a small team of scientists working in a hidden underground facility. They had been researching alien technology long before the invasion, hoping to unlock its secrets. Now, with the aliens in full attack mode, their research had become humanity's only hope. Dr. Lucas Hayes, a brilliant engineer, had been working on reverse engineering alien weapons. He knew the stakes were high, but he had no idea how quickly they would need to use his work. As he and his team examined the data from the alien forces, they discovered a flaw in the aliens' energy shields. A tiny weakness, barely noticeable, but enough to make a difference. They had to act fast. The team quickly set to work, designing a makeshift weapon capable of targeting the alien shield's weakness. It wasn't perfect, far from it, but it was the best they could manage under the circumstances. Armed with only this one experimental weapon, Dr. Hayes and his team ventured into the heart of the alien occupation zone. The humans moved in quietly, using the shadows to their advantage. The alien forces, confident in their superiority, did not expect such an attack. It was a bold move, one that would either result in failure or force the aliens to rethink their strategy. But humanity wasn't about to let fear stop them. They launched the weapon at a nearby alien shield, watching in anticipation as it made contact. There was a moment of silence, and then, success. The shield flickered and faltered, and for the first time, the humans had a way in. They began targeting alien forces with precision, exploiting the weakness in their defenses. Word of the success spread quickly, and more groups of humans joined the fight. The resistance grew, not just in size, but in strength. Humans were learning from each battle, adapting and finding new ways to strike back. The alien invaders, confident that their initial assault would end the war in a matter of hours, were now facing a challenge they hadn't planned for. The invasion, which had seemed unstoppable, was now in jeopardy. The aliens, so certain of their victory, were starting to realize they had underestimated humanity's resourcefulness and will to survive. The tide was slowly turning, But humanity knew it was still far from over. The first victory against the aliens felt like a spark in the dark, a small flame of hope in the midst of chaos. As the resistance grew, so did the humans' courage. They had tasted what it felt like to fight back, and they weren't about to stop. But while humanity's defiance was growing stronger, the alien forces were starting to face problems of their own. The alien factions that had united to invade Earth began to show cracks. What had once been a powerful, united front was now slowly splitting apart. The alien leaders, who had once been sure of their victory, began to argue among themselves. Some blamed their failed strategy on the underestimation of human resilience. Others insisted that humanity was not worth the effort and wanted to withdraw. In the middle of this confusion, an unexpected group emerged, human sympathizers among the aliens. For years, they had lived in secret, watching Earth from the shadows, unsure whether they should intervene. Now, with the invasion faltering, they knew it was time to act. These sympathizers had access to critical intelligence about the aliens' weaknesses, and they made contact with Earth's military leaders. It wasn't an easy decision for the humans. Trusting the enemy, no matter how much they claimed to be on their side, was dangerous. But as the aliens' unity continued to unravel, the humans realized they had no choice. The alien sympathizers gave humanity vital information about the invaders' supply lines, military strategies, and even their communication systems. With this knowledge, humans were able to exploit new weaknesses, launching more precise attacks that began to seriously hurt the alien forces. Humanity's small victories now began to add up. The resistance was no longer just a group of brave soldiers or scientists. It had turned into a global movement. In cities that had once been crushed under alien fire, people began to fight back in ways they never thought possible. Civilians, farmers, engineers, ordinary humans were now becoming key players in the fight to save their planet. They used whatever they could find: makeshift weapons, old military gear, and even hacked alien technology to hold their ground. Dr. Lucas Hayes, who had once worked alone in his underground lab, now found himself coordinating efforts with people from all walks of life. His team, once small and hidden, now had a network of allies across the globe. They were beginning to form a resistance that was more organized and more dangerous than ever before. And it wasn't just Earth's defenses that were improving. With the help of the alien sympathizers, humans were able to reverse engineer some of the most powerful alien weapons and adapt them for their own use. One of the most important discoveries was a device that could disrupt the aliens' communication network, making it harder for them to coordinate their attacks. The aliens, still caught up in their internal struggles, didn't realize how close they were to losing everything. The humans had gone from a species on the brink of extinction to a force to be reckoned with. It was no longer just about surviving. Humanity was beginning to take the fight to the heart of the alien forces. The first few weeks of the invasion had been nothing short of a nightmare. Cities were destroyed, lives were lost, and humanity's future seemed uncertain. But as the human resistance grew, the impossible started to seem possible. It was no longer just about survival. It was about fighting back, and humanity was starting to prove that they could. The turning point came when Earth's forces, with the help of the alien sympathizers, launched their first full-scale counteroffensive. This wasn't just a handful of brave soldiers making a stand. It was a coordinated global effort. People from all over the world came together, setting aside their differences to protect their homes, their families, and their planet. It was a fight for survival, but it was also a fight for their place in the universe. One of the first major battles took place in what was once Chicago. The alien forces had occupied the city, and it seemed like they were untouchable. Their ships hovered in the sky, blocking any escape, while their ground troops controlled the streets. But humanity wasn't giving up that easily. They launched a daring attack on the alien command center, using guerrilla tactics and every scrap of technology they could find. Dr. Lucas Hayes, who had been at the forefront of Earth's technological advancements, helped design a weapon that could take down the aliens' shield defenses. It was a risky plan, but it was humanity's best shot. The weapon was set to target a weak point in the alien shields, a flaw the aliens had overlooked, and it was fired in the dead of night, under the cover of darkness. The blast hit its mark. For the first time in the entire conflict, the alien shield flickered and failed. The resistance poured into the city with renewed hope, taking down alien forces one by one. The aliens had been caught off guard. Their superior technology had been matched by human ingenuity and determination. But it didn't end there. The success in Chicago sparked a series of victories. More and more alien ships were shot down, and their troops were pushed back. Humans were learning to use alien technology against the invaders, hacking into their systems and turning their weapons against them. What had once been a devastatingly one-sided war was now becoming a real battle. Across the world, cities that had been left in ruins were slowly being reclaimed. People who had been hiding, terrified and defeated, now found themselves fighting side by side with soldiers and scientists. Families that had lost everything now had a chance to rebuild. The aliens, who had believed that humanity would bow to them, were starting to realize just how wrong they were. They had underestimated Earth's people. It wasn't just that humans were fighting back. It was that they were learning, adapting, and growing stronger with each passing day. In space, Earth's new fleet, fueled by salvaged alien technology, prepared for its first major offensive against the alien motherships. Humanity was no longer just defending itself. It was preparing to take the fight to the heart of the alien forces. The war was far from over, but for the first time, humanity had the upper hand, and they weren't about to let it go. As the alien factions continued to splinter, and the humans' resistance became stronger, something remarkable happened. Humanity discovered an unexpected advantage that would change the course of the war. It wasn't just about using alien technology or improving weapons. It was about something far more powerful: an ancient alien artifact. The artifact had been discovered years before, during a routine research mission in a distant cave system. It had been tucked away, hidden for centuries, its true purpose unknown. It was a strange object, unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Scientists had studied it for years, but it had remained dormant, with no clear way to activate it. When the alien invasion began, the artifact was all but forgotten. Until now. With Earth's situation growing more desperate, Dr. Lucas Hayes, now one of the leading figures in humanity's fight against the invaders, remembered it. He had spent countless hours studying the artifact, but he had never fully understood its power. But now, with the war threatening to destroy everything, he knew they had to try something different. One night, in the heart of the underground resistance lab, Dr. Hayes and his team gathered around the artifact. They knew that if they could unlock its secrets, it might be the key to ending the war. As they activated the artifact, something extraordinary happened. A sudden surge of energy filled the room, and for the first time, the artifact hummed to life. It wasn't just a weapon. It was something more. It was a force that amplified the willpower and determination of those around it. At first, the scientists weren't sure what had happened. But as they tested the artifact on a small scale, they realized its true power. The artifact connected with the minds of those who touched it, boosting their resolve and making them stronger. It turned ordinary humans into fierce warriors, their spirits and focus heightened in ways they had never thought possible. It was as if the artifact had unlocked a deep, untapped potential inside each person who came into contact with it. The implications were staggering. The humans now had a weapon unlike anything the aliens had encountered. This artifact didn't just give them physical strength. It gave them something far more important: an unshakable will to win. With each new soldier who touched the artifact, they became more than just a fighter. They became a symbol of humanity's refusal to back down. Humanity quickly adapted the artifact's power to their advantage. Resistance fighters, armed with the energy from the artifact, fought with greater strength and precision. They took down alien ships and destroyed their most heavily fortified positions. The aliens, already on the back foot due to their internal conflicts, found themselves facing a new enemy, one that could not be defeated by advanced technology alone. As word spread, more and more human fighters joined the cause, drawn by the artifact's power. It was the turning point humanity had been waiting for. No longer just survivors, they were now warriors. The war was far from over, but the alien invaders were starting to realize that the humans they had underestimated were not only holding their ground, they were becoming an unstoppable force. The war had raged on for weeks, with humanity showing an unexpected resilience that no one, not even the alien leaders, had predicted. But now, the invaders were facing something they had not prepared for, a human force that had not only survived their initial assault, but had begun to win. The artifact, once a mysterious relic, had become humanity's greatest weapon. As more and more human soldiers tapped into its power, the alien forces found themselves pushed back. What had started as an invasion to claim Earth as another conquered world was now turning into a war of attrition, one the aliens were struggling to win. Back in the alien command centers, panic set in. The situation had become critical. Communications among the alien factions were breaking down, and the leaders who had once been united in their mission to destroy humanity were now at odds. Some leaders argued that the war should continue, that Earth was worth the risk. But others, worn out by the fight, called for a retreat. The cost of the invasion had already been higher than they had expected, and the humans' surprising victories had begun to take a toll. The news of humanity's unexpected strength spread across the galaxy. The alien fleets, which had once been invincible, were now losing ships and resources at an alarming rate. Every battle they fought against humanity felt like a loss, and the invading forces began to doubt their own superiority. On Earth, the humans had rallied together like never before. Their military leaders worked alongside civilians, engineers, and scientists to create new strategies. The once divided resistance was now a unified front, with every human playing a part in the fight. Even those who had never picked up a weapon before found ways to contribute, whether by repairing equipment, gathering intelligence, or helping fellow survivors. Humanity's spirit of cooperation and determination was at its peak, and it was making the difference. For the first time, the alien invaders were forced to reconsider their position. They had thought of Earth as a minor, insignificant planet in the grand scheme of the galaxy. But now they realized that this small, determined species had the power to change the course of history. The humans had done what no one else in the galaxy had ever been able to do: defend their home and fight back against the mightiest of invaders. The alien leaders, once so confident in their ability to dominate, now found themselves at a crossroads. If they continued to fight, they risked losing everything. But if they retreated, it would be an acknowledgement that Earth was no longer theirs to control. For the first time, the fate of the invasion rested in their hands, and they knew that no matter which decision they made, the galaxy would never be the same. The humans had proven their strength. The galaxy had underestimated them. And now, the invaders knew the truth. They had awakened something they could not stop. The alien forces were beginning to crumble. Their ships had been torn apart by humanity's relentless attacks, and their once unstoppable soldiers were now retreating. On Earth, cities that had been ravaged by the invaders were slowly being reclaimed. Humanity, once on the verge of extinction, had become a powerful force. But the war wasn't over yet. Humanity knew they had one final chance to end the invasion once and for all. The alien motherships, the heart of their operation, were still hovering above Earth, their massive weapons ready to obliterate anything in their path. If humanity didn't act quickly, they risked losing everything they had fought for. Dr. Lucas Hayes, now a key leader in the resistance, had one final plan. After months of analyzing the alien technology, he and his team had come up with a way to infiltrate the alien motherships. Using a combination of hacked alien communication systems and newly developed human weapons, they planned a bold strike at the heart of the enemy's command center. If they could disable the mothership's central control, they would cripple the entire alien invasion. The team prepared for the most dangerous mission of their lives. They knew they would be outnumbered, and the chances of success were slim. But humanity had come too far to turn back now. Every soldier, every civilian, every scientist, everyone was ready to give it their all. The war had united them like never before, and together, they would take the fight to the aliens' doorstep. The final strike began at dawn. A small, elite team of humans, led by Dr. Hayes, infiltrated the alien motherships using stealth technology and underground tunnels they had discovered in previous missions. As they made their way through the dark, labyrinthine corridors, they encountered fierce resistance from the alien forces. But the humans, fueled by the power of the mysterious artifact, fought with unmatched strength and determination. Each step forward was hard-earned. The alien soldiers were formidable, but the humans were no longer just fighting for survival. They were fighting to win. With every skirmish, they pushed deeper into the mothership, drawing closer to the central control room. The further they went, the more determined they became. They couldn't afford to fail. The future of Earth depended on their success. At last, they'd reached the heart of the alien mothership. The central control room was heavily guarded, but the humans had prepared for this moment. Using the alien technology they had learned to manipulate, they bypassed the mothership's security systems and activated a virus that would shut down the ship's central command. Within seconds, the ship's control systems began to fail, and the once powerful mothership went dark. As the mothership's systems collapsed, chaos erupted across the alien fleet. Their ships, once coordinated and efficient, now drifted aimlessly in space, easy targets for humanity's forces. The aliens, shocked and disoriented, tried to regroup, but it was too late. The humans had struck the final blow. The war was over. The aliens, once so confident in their superiority, had lost. The galaxy would never again underestimate the power of humanity. Earth had not only survived the invasion, they had won. The silence that followed the final battle felt almost surreal. The once fearsome alien motherships were now drifting in space, their control systems shut down, their power extinguished. The alien forces, scattered and broken, had no chance of regrouping. Humanity had fought against the odds and emerged victorious. On Earth, the destruction was everywhere. The cities that had once been thriving metropolises were now ruins, their streets lined with the wreckage of war. But amidst the devastation, something beautiful was beginning to grow, a sense of hope. People who had once been divided by borders, politics, and differences now stood together, united in the aftermath of their victory. They had proven to the galaxy that they would never be broken, no matter the challenge. Dr. Lucas Hayes stood among the survivors, looking at the horizon. The war was over, but the work had just begun. There was much to rebuild, many lives to restore, and a planet to heal. Yet, for the first time in months, he allowed himself to feel a sense of peace. Earth had held its ground. Humanity had proven its strength. The leaders of the alien factions, who had once looked down on humanity as nothing more than a primitive species, were now facing the consequences of their actions. The coalition that had invaded Earth had fallen apart, their forces defeated, their plans shattered. The few remaining alien leaders were left with no choice but to negotiate. Some, realizing the futility of further resistance, offered peace. Others, still unwilling to accept defeat, retreated into the shadows. But humanity, stronger than ever, had earned its place in the universe. With the invasion over, the people of Earth began to rebuild. The scars of the war would remain for years to come, but the spirit of humanity, its resilience, its creativity, and its will to survive, had never been stronger. The survivors of the war, from soldiers to scientists to civilians, worked together to rebuild what had been lost. The world was changing, but this time, humanity was in control of its future. And beyond Earth, the galaxy would never forget the day when humanity fought back against the most powerful forces in the universe. The alien factions, once so sure of their victory, had learned a hard lesson. They had underestimated the humans, and they would never make that mistake again. Earth, once a small and insignificant planet, had shown the galaxy the true power of the human spirit. As the years passed, Earth's presence in the galaxy grew stronger. Other alien species, once wary of humanity, now looked to Earth as an equal. Humanity had not only survived the war, they had earned the respect of the galaxy. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity was no longer just a species fighting for survival. They were a force to be reckoned with. The war was over, but humanity's story was just beginning.